right, you know what time it is. Live from the Bare Muscle Garage, it's time for Fit Crew. What do we got in store for you today? Let's go ahead and share this on screen. So today we've got an exciting split ladder workout for you here. We're going to be doing 50, 40, 30, 20, 10 of double unders, and we've got 15, 12, 9, 6, 3 of GHD sit-ups and hand-to-hand swings. And we may be looking at this thinking, I'm not even sure I fully understand the format of this. What are we even doing and when? I don't have a jump rope. I don't have a GHD. Don't worry, guys. As always, we're going to warm up really well. And we're going to go through all the options that will allow you to do this workout or your version of it. Right where you are, using what you have and doing what you can. Well, let's go ahead and start the general warm-up, which is going to activate the muscles that we are going to be using in today's workout. And the first move that we're going to do is Superman's. And let's go ahead and have Twin 1 demonstrate 2 Superman's for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then the Superman is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 Supermans together. So on the Superman, we've got the arms forward, legs back, and we are raising those arms and those legs, holding that arch position for just about 2 seconds before coming back down. And so good job on these Supermans. Next, we're going to roll over and hit some glute bridges. Let's go ahead and have Twin 1 demonstrate 2 glute bridges for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the glute bridges are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 glute bridges together. So on the glute bridge, we're going to be laying on our back. We're going to pull those feet in super close to the hips, and we're going to squeeze those glutes. And we want to think fast up, hold the top, slow on the way back down. And so good job on these glute bridges. Next, we've got some straight leg sit-ups. And let's go ahead and have Twin 1 demonstrate 2 reps of the straight leg sit-up for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the straight leg sit-up is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 straight leg sit-ups together. So the straight leg sit-up might be a very challenging movement for us, in which case we may choose to do some single leg raises. And let's go ahead and have Twin 1 demonstrate a couple reps here. We're going to point the toe and we're going to raise the one leg and we're going to get all the way up, doing 5 on one side and 5 on the other side. But if we're doing the straight leg sit-up as prescribed, we are laying on our back. We've got those arms behind us. We're going to take a deep breath in and swing those arms for momentum until we reach for the toes at the top. And so good job here on the straight leg sit-up or the single leg raise, whatever version is better for us. Next, we're going to get the calves ready for all this jumping. Let's go ahead and have Twin 1 demonstrate 2 reps of the dynamic calf stretch on each leg. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then we're actually going to do some dynamic elbows like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the dynamic calf stretch for us. Now, it could be that doing this off the ground is a bit of a challenge, in which case we may choose to do this off of an inclined surface. And let's have twin one demonstrate here. This could be off of a chair, off a counter, or even off the wall, but we're going to be in a nice inclined pike position, bending the one knee, pushing the back heel into the ground. But if we're doing it off the ground as prescribed, we've got those hands on the ground, piking those hips up in the air, bending the one knee, pushing the back heel into the ground, holding that for about 2 seconds before switching sides. And so good job here on the dynamic calf stretch. Next, we're going to do some jumps here. And let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate 3 reps of the single jumping thigh slap for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then we can do the seated variation of the jumping jack, which looks like this. So let's do 20 reps of this jumping thigh slap. Now, this could be very high impact for us, in which case we've got a couple options here. Option number 1, we could do some stepping jacks, and let's have twin one demonstrate here. So we're going to take a step to the side and clap overhead. And this is a super low impact variation. Or we could do some jumping jacks if we want a little bit more of a challenge. We can handle some impact, but this has a little bit less of the coordination aspect, which might be better for us. But if we are doing the jumping thigh slap as prescribed, and we are jumping, slapping those thighs once in the air, focusing on jumping off the balls and toes and just kind of kissing the ground with the heel of the foot there each and every time. So good job on these jumping thigh slaps or jumping jacks or stepping jacks, whichever version is better for us. Next, we're going to grab a super light kettlebell, 10 pounds or less, 5 kilos or less. If we don't have a kettlebell, then any other common household object will do, preferably something with a handle today. And let's look on as twin one demonstrates 2 reps of the kettlebell sumo deadlift for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then that sumo deadlift is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the sumo deadlift together. So on this sumo deadlift, that object is going to start on the ground in between the feet. And we're going to have those hips super low, but the chest is up, shoulders back. And we are looking straight ahead at the wall opposite us. And we're going to take a deep breath in as we brace that core, driving the ground away until we get to a fully standing, locked out position with the shoulders back at the top. And then, of course, we're going to brace the core on the way back down as well. So good job here on the sumo deadlift. And finally, to finish off this general warm-up activation phase, we're going to do some one-arm swings. And let's go ahead and have twin one demonstrate 3 one-arm swings on the same arm for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then we're actually going to do a slightly different move. We're going to do some one-arm high pulls like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the one-arm swing, 5 on each side. Now, it could be that for different reasons, doing a one-arm swing is not the best idea for us, in which case we may choose to do the Russian swing, holding on with both hands. And let's have twin one show us what that looks like. And so we're going to have that object firmly in between the legs, gripping with both hands. And we're going to initiate by throwing it back and then popping those hips, getting it up to face level. But if we're doing the one arm swing as prescribed, we've got that object firmly in one hand, and then we're going to throw that back between the legs, and then we are popping those hips, getting it to just face level. We don't want it any higher than that. We're just getting it to face level. And this is getting us ready to do those hand-to-hand swings later. And so good job here on these one-arm swings or Russian swings, whichever version we choose to do. Well, that is it for the general warm-up activation phase. Now we're going to move on to the specific warm-up, the movement prep, which is where we're going to warm up specifically the 3 movements that we are doing in today's workout. So the first move is going to be double unders. Now, if we happen to have a jump rope, what I'd like you to do is to grab that jump rope, and I'd like you to start by practicing just what we call some singles, which is where you swing that rope once and we hit that jump. And a very pro tip there, once you get that untangled, just like Bubbles is doing, is to lay it in a way in between sets that it doesn't get tangled again. So we're gonna lay that with the left hand on the left, the right hand on the right, and lay it nice in a big circular motion so that every time we go to pick it up, we don't have to play that game of untangle each time, but we usually have to untangle it right from the start. But Bubbles is going to show us some nice relaxed singles here. Now, if we don't happen to have a jump rope, then we can do a body weight version of this move, which is the jumping thigh slap. So I'm going to have twin one now demonstrate a jumping double thigh slap, and let's see what that looks like. Now, like we had said before, if the jumping is kind of crazy for us, then we can do those stepping jacks or jumping jacks. And I'd like you to challenge yourself maybe to do 2 claps at the top to get a little bit more of that coordination aspect. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then we're going to do the seated variation of the jumping jack with 2 claps up top. So let's everyone join in here, whether you've got a rope or not. Let's practice either the jumping double thigh slap, the jumping single thigh slap. We've got jumping jacks, stepping jacks, lots of different options here. Now, if you do happen to have a rope, what I'd like you to do at this point, now that we've done all the singles, I'd like you to start to practice for some doubles, which is where that rope goes faster. We jump once, and that rope goes underneath the feet twice, and Bubbles is practicing, just like many of us, and we're working on getting that double. But practice makes perfect, and we'll see maybe if we get our first double today or even get to connect some or whatever the case. But we've got lots of different options here to hit the stimulus of what we're looking for, which is some jumps, getting the heart rate up, and a little bit of a coordination aspect, maybe with a double clap if we choose to do so. So good job on whatever version we choose to do. The second move that we are doing in today's workout is GHD sit-ups. Now, the GHD is an awesome piece of apparatus that allows us to increase the range of motion of the sit-up. Now, the sit-up is already a very challenging motion. What I'd like us to do is we're going to do a progression, whether we have a GHD machine or not. We're going to do an at-home body weight version of this that will test whether or not maybe doing a GHD is a good idea for us. So those very same straight leg sit-ups that we were trying before, what I'd like you to do now is to fold your arms across the chest. And let's have Twin One demonstrate here a couple arms folded sit-ups. Now, if this is very challenging for us, then we can do some of the other options. We can either swing those arms as much as needed for momentum, or we could even do those single leg raises. And these are all valid ways to get that core going. Now, if we are able to fold those arms across the chest and hit a good number of reps, then I'd like us to now add some weight, and we're going to hug the weight and do a dumbbell weighted sit-up that looks like this. But once again, this is only if we are able to do the arms folded version without too much strain. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then what I'd like us to do is to hug a dumbbell, and we're going to do the seated variation of the weighted sit-up like this. So let's everyone join in here, and let's do 10 practice reps of whatever sit-up version is better for us. So just want to repeat one more time. If the arms folded sit-up is already a big challenge for us, we can work on that. We do not need to add any weight to this. If we need to swing those arms for momentum or do the single leg raise, that is another very valid option for us. But to the extent that we can add some weight and perhaps hug the weight and get to a full sit-up position, then maybe we can add that challenge. Here's what we are not doing today. Let's have Twin One demonstrate a couple reps where we're punching the weight out. And so that punching the weight out is not what we are looking to do today. That actually is a way to scale down the movement, and we have more practical ways to do that. We are looking that if we have the capacity to hug the weight, we can do exactly what Twin One is doing here, hugging the weight and sitting all the way up, adding that challenge. So lots of options here. Let's pick the right one for us. Good job on these sit-ups. And at this point, if you do happen to have a GHD machine, what I'd like you to do is to experiment with progressively lower, first facing down, reaching for the ground and then going back up, doing some hip and back extensions. And then if we have the core strength as evidenced by being able to do the weighted sit-ups, we can progressively work on the face up GHD. And we can find out more about that by looking at the movement demo videos and, most importantly, signing up for some private coaching. The third move that we are doing today is hand-to-hand swings. So let's grab that light kettlebell, 10 pounds or less, 5 kilos or less, and let's look on as Twin One demonstrates 4 reps of the hand-to-hand kettlebell swing. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then we're actually going to do some alternating high pulls like this. So let's all join in here and let's do 10 reps of the hand-to-hand kettlebell swing together. Now, something very important to note is we switch at the top. So we initiate by setting that object back between the legs, but we pop, then switch, pop, then switch. In fact, some find that it's helpful to kind of trail the object with the other trailing arm, kind of keep it close by so that we can make that switch at the top and we're not sitting there waiting too long and losing the rhythm of it. But we want to pop that up, switch at the top. And if we find ourselves getting off track, hey, let's just put it down, take a break until we get back on track again. And so good job here on these hand-to-hand swings. Well, now it's ramp up time. If you've been earning badges and you'd like to add some weight to do either the scaled, intermediate, or RX weight in today's workout, then let's start to gradually add some weight, doing about 5 to 10 practice reps of those hand-to-hand swings and the weighted sit-ups, adding a little bit of weight each time until we get to the weight that we want to use for the workout. But if we have not been earning badges, or we're just getting back into this after a long time off, then please let's not add any weight. That super light weight that we were just using in the warm-up is going to be more than enough for us today. It's very important that we have the right form and consistency with all our habits before we've earned the right to add or reintroduce intensity, such as by adding weight or going fast. And whether we're adding weight or not, let's pay close attention to the following checklist. Number 1, please make sure your device is fully charged or plugged in so we can get through this whole workout without losing you. Number 2, let's grab some water. Let's take a sip. And let's make sure we got our water nearby so we can take a sip as needed all throughout the workout. Number 3, I'm going to give everyone a 3, 2, 1, go countdown. And that's how you can synchronize your timer with mine if you choose to use one. Number 4, music. Super important. We definitely want a couple fight songs. They're going to help us to focus and get through this with as much accuracy as possible. We've got some high skill movements here. And so what's going to help us to keep our head in the game? You can blast your music as loud as you want, as long as you can still hear me helping you throughout the workout. And lastly, how are we keeping track of these rounds? This is a 5-round workout. The reps are starting high, and then we are going lower. There's a lot going on. It's a split ladder thing. So today, especially, gonna be very important that we are teachers' pets, and we've got the workout written down close by, perhaps with some type of scorecard to keep track of our progress. So if you're a teacher's pet like Mighty Mouse or Bubbles or Deb or Twin One, let's go ahead and show your whiteboard on screen, and then we're going to take our teacher's pet picture. So here we go. Teacher's pet picture in 3, 2, 1. Awesome. I'm going to bring the workout back on screen one more time, and then we'll get going. So in just about a minute, we're going to start this timer, and we're about to do this 5-round descending ladder workout, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10 of double unders, 15, 12, 9, 6, 3 of GHDs and hand-to-hand swings. Now, most of us are going to be doing the body weight or at-home modifications for most of these movements. So the way this is going to flow is 50 jumping thigh slaps or jumping jacks, followed by 15 of those weighted sit-ups or unweighted sit-ups, whichever sit-up is better for us, and then 15 hand-to-hand swings, followed by 40 jumping thigh slaps, and then 12 sit-ups and 12 hand-to-hand swings, 30 jumping thigh slaps, 9 weighted sit-ups, 9 hand-to-hand swings, 20 thigh slaps, 6 sit-ups, 6 swings, and then 10 thigh slaps, 3 sit-ups, 3 swings. So let's make sure we've got the workout written down close by for close reference, easy reference, so that we know what's coming up next and how much it is. We've got a good amount of dubs, a good amount of sit-ups, a good amount of swings. If we have a jump rope and we have some double unders, but still working on connecting them, then we can consider perhaps having the rep scheme there instead of 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. Maybe we do 25, 20, 15, 10, 5 on those double unders if we have some double unders. But if we're still just working on getting it and we only get one every like 5 or 10 or so. Let's just do singles. And let's try to get that double under perhaps every 10. And that'll be some good double under practice for us. But we are doing 50, 40, 30, 20, 10 of single unders with the same rep scheme, of course, the 15, 12, 9, 6, 3 of the other moves down there. So your score is going to be the time it takes you to get through these 5 rounds of descending reps of double unders or thigh slaps, GHD sit-ups or weighted sit-ups, and then the hand-to-hand swings. If you are good to go, give me a thumbs up over here and we'll get this started. I'm going to give us a 10-second countdown. And then I'm going to highlight bubbles to get us going. So here we go, guys. 50 jumping jacks or thigh slaps. 15 sit-ups. 15 hand-to-hand swings. And then it's all downhill from there. Starting in 10 seconds. Let's get ready. 3, 2, 1, go. And we are off on these singles or doubles, whatever's good for us. And I want to see a good attempt about every 10 or so, just like we see Bubbles doing here. But most of us are doing these either thigh slaps or perhaps some stepping jacks. We got Mighty Mouse doing most of these workouts from the standing position these days. And we've got Deb killing it with the rope here, moving super fast on some singles. And so good job here. Twin 1 already done. And then moving on to some weighted sit-ups, hugging that dumbbell all the way up, all the way back. And we've got Bubbles just about done. Deb about to get into it. And then we've got Mighty Mouse finishing off that set as well. But we've got 15 of these sit-ups here. Full range of motion. Just remember, we're only adding weight if it makes sense to do so. If we're working on the arms folded sit-up there, then that's the version we're gonna do. Or if we need to swing those arms or do the single leg raise, then that's another good option for us. But we are making our way through these reps here. After the 15 sit-ups, gonna move on to those swings. And we got Twin 1 already on these swings. Gonna throw that back, pop that up. We are switching at the top. And another detail on the swing, just like we see Twin 1 doing here, is we want to keep the other hand off the body. It's very common to push off that thigh, even if it's only on one side or another. But let's remember to keep the other hand off the body. And that's going to keep that move purely with the hip extension and leg extension. So we are popping the hips, switching at the top. And notice how we got Bubbles choosing to use a dumbbell, and the handle where she's holding it, that's the way you want to swing a dumbbell. Holding the handle in this way. And Mighty Mouse finishing off some swings here. Before now moving on to the round of 40 of the jump rope. We got Twin 1 hitting already the 40 double thigh slaps. Made quick work of that. Deb on that rope, moving super fast with that rope. Bubbles moving super fast with that rope as well. And we got Mighty Mouse on some stepping jacks here. But here goes Twin 1 already on the round of 12 sit-ups, hugging that dumbbell. Getting the full range of motion. And that's what we're looking for. We want to make smart choices with the sit-ups. We want to pick the version that challenges us just the right amount. The version that makes sense for us. And we've got twin one already on these 12 swings here, throwing it back, popping it up, switching at the top, following with the other arm. And Mighty Mouse finishing off some sit-ups here. But nice work here, guys. We are making our way through this. Bubbles about to throw that back, pop it up. Boom, switching at the top. And we are keeping the other hand off the body. Like we said, it's very common to push off the thigh or kind of even slow it down on the way down, but we want to keep that arm clearly off the body throughout the motion. But nice work here, guys. Now, the third round in a descending ladder workout is what I like to refer to as the bridge. The first two rounds always feel very similar in duration and effort. The third round is where it starts to feel different. And we start to feel like, you know what, I'm making some headway. I am making my way through this thing. So this is a big confidence boost here. Let's get through this third round. Most of us either just getting into it or twin one even making her way toward the end of it on the 9 swings here. And then as we get into the last 2 rounds, that's what I like to call the lightning rounds. These ones go by in the blink of an eye. And so we know what to do when we finish. We hit that buzzer, we yell time, we cheer on our family. So let's keep the pedal to the metal. These descending ladder workouts, they encourage us to push for intensity. It's like, hey, I just did 50, I can do 40. I just did 40, I can do 30. So on and so forth. After we get through the first couple big rounds, then we just kind of push our way through. And looks like we got twin one getting into this last round, fast round. And so let's breathe, let's push. Twin one making her way through the last couple sit-ups here. And that is time for twin one. And let's cheer on our family here. We've got Bubbles making her way down, about to hit some swings. Deb on what looks like the last set of this rope, already done with that. Mighty Mouse making her way toward the last round. Bubbles picking up that rope for what looks like the last time. And we are doing this, guys, getting through these sit-ups, getting through these swings.
Come on, ladies, you got this.
And we love to cheer on our family here.
You got this. Hit those swings. Pop that booty.
Let's do it. The power of the glutes. Bubbles across the finish line.
Right.
Deb on this last round. Mighty Mouse across the finish line, sneaking in there.
All right, Mighty Mouse.
Deb almost there.
Come on, Deb.
Come on, Deb, you got this, Mama.
We love to hear from the cheering squad,
3
especially.
swings, that's it. Let's go, let's go.
All right.
Woo-hoo.
Deb.
And there goes Deb on these last couple swings. And that is time for Deb. Well, that was crazy as always. But now we're at the best part of the workout, which is the cool down stretch. And this stretch is super important to help us fight soreness, increase flexibility, so we can come back day after day, staying consistent and committed. So the first stretch today is the seat. That's going to be where we're laying face down. And we are pushing up like this, letting those hips sink into the ground. If this is a bit hard on the hands, then we could do this off the elbows like this. And while we're doing this, let's reflect on the workout. Let's do some high-low buffalo. And so let's hear first from twin one. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then we can get those arms up and pull back like this. But what is your high-low buffalo twin one?
My high were the swings. The low was the, let me think. I think it was the GHD sit-up, and the buffalo was, even though I didn't get to do the dubs, I still got to do that modified version of the tapping thigh slap. It helps, I think, trying to get the rhythm down for when I do get to practice on a real rope.
And it certainly is. That thigh slap is a really important drill in its own right to get the timing down for those double ups. And so, good job working on that coordination, and definitely looking forward to see what we can do once we get the space and the wherewithal to get that rope out. From here, let's go ahead and shift into the frog. We're going to shift those hips back, knees out to the side, and we are sinking into this like this. And while we're here, let's hear from Bubbles. And if we're doing this from the seated position, we're going to get those hands on the shoulder blades and pull back like this. But what is your high-low buffalo, Bubbles?
High-low buffalo. I think the high was I don't know. I think all of them. I enjoyed all the movements today. I always using my rope. Love using my rope, so that was fun. I don't know what to say, Coach. Everything was a high. Nothing really was a low. And buffalo was actually using a dumbbell for the swings, because it is a different movement. Your brain kind of does some different things rather than holding something with a handle. So I warmed up using something with a handle, like my water bottle. But then for the WOD dip, in order to use more weight, I used the dumbbell. But it was a definitely change in my brain. Like mentally, I had to adjust like what I needed to do or how to hold it. So I guess that was more of a buffalo, is like trying to keep it straight and also trying to keep up with the reps. Like I know I kept checking my my printout of what we were doing today. Like how much are we doing? And definitely appreciate all your coaching cues. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bubbles. Always excited to see you use your rope as well. And it is good to switch things up every once in a while. Beyond just using more weight, hey, just switching things up and swinging a dumbbell just for the sake of it, that's part of what we do here in this program. We're training the neurological component. And so just kind of comparing that movement there to the kettlebell and keeping you on your toes, so to speak, that is good to see. Good job, Bubbles. Let's go ahead and switch to supine twists. We're going to lay on the back, get one knee into the chest, twist, and pull down with that opposite hand. And while we're doing this, let's hear from Mighty Mouse. If we're doing this from the seated position, we're going to twist toward the left, holding on to whatever we need to. But what is your high-low buffalo, Mighty Mouse?
My high was doing the hand-to-hand swing. I didn't have a low, but the buffalo was you really had to pace yourself. So I had to pace myself doing the round of 50. And when I went down, it was okay, but that round was kind of I had to really take my time so I can get done with the other rounds.
And I'll tell you what, you definitely did pace yourself to the point where in those later rounds, you flew through it because you picked a nice, manageable pace from the start. I almost couldn't believe you snuck past the finish line so fast, but that's just because you had the energy, you were very smartly paced, and you just gunned it at the end, which is what we're looking for. So good job, Mighty Mouse. And let's go ahead and hit supine twists on the other side now. We've got the other knee into the chest, and then we are twisting, pulling down like that. And while we're on this side, let's hear from Deb. And if we're doing this from the seated position, we're now twisting toward the right, holding on to whatever we need to. But what is your high-low buffalo, Deb?
My high was using my jump rope. I think it was, I'm gonna say this, but I think I'm ready for some double unders because my rope was going faster than my hands. I think I got the wrong rope because I was like, what are you doing? And I couldn't keep up. And then it was whipping me. So I was like, okay, thank you, God, thank you. Like, I'm not gonna get upset. I'm gonna get control of the rope. So that was my high because I was talking with myself and I was just like my other, teammates. I'm like 50, 40, 30, 15, where am I? And then I was still smacking myself. So I had to chuckle there a little bit. And then my low was the HDA sit-ups because I was doing the weighted sit-ups with no weight, but I thought I was like, oh, I got this. And then I tried to pick up some weight and we were like, no, we don't have this yet. So I went back down. So that was the low because I was thinking I was something that I wasn't, but it was all right. And then my buffalo was, the counting of the numbers and the where am I and am I supposed to do 25 of the I couldn't do it. So that was my buffalo. So I have to try to, I keep telling myself, grasshopper, stay focused because I was all over the place. And so every day's a new beginning. So I'm gonna get it next time. Thanks, Coach.
So much awesomeness there, Deb. And yes, that rope going too fast, that's a good problem to have. And that's going to set you up very well for those double unders, which honestly, I would agree. I do think with how fast that rope was going, and as long as those knees are feeling good, that's something that we can start to practice a little bit at a time. If we're doing the double unders right, we're not really landing too hard. We're not jumping too hard either way. We're staying relaxed. And so I would say, yeah, if we want to do like a minute or two of double under practice on the regular, that's going to help us to get to those dubs. Always listening to your body, of course. But good job, Deb, and good job staying calm even as you got whipped. That's another very important part of double unders. Well, that's our WOD, that's our stretch, that's our high-low buffalo. You know what we got to do. We got to take that sweaty selfie because does this count if we don't take that selfie? Let's flex on the camera here, guys. And let's take that selfie. Sweaty selfie in 3, 2, 1. And crazy face. And let's put the fist in the middle for the cheer. On 3, 2 claps, fit crew. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Good crew.
Good crew.
Fit crew. Thank you so much. If you enjoy this program, then please give this channel a subscribe, a like, and a share. Thank you very much, and see you next time.